Hello everyone. I haven't posted anything in a while. I figured it'd be appropriate to do an update video on what I've been working on this winter as we enter air conditioning season. So I've spent most of the winter in the house, and this room here has been the area of concentration. I've been gutting it. This was a kitchen that was clad knotty pine, similar to the rest of the basement here. And while I'm keeping it everywhere else, I wanted to do the kitchen a little bit more vintage, similar to the bathroom I did a few years ago here. So in here, there were 3 floors that I pulled up. This is the original 1925 heart pine floor, which needs to be patched. It has quite a bit of rot in some areas. And the walls here are all tongue and groove pine on the walls. So these are all the original walls in here. I'm going to repair them where needed and repaint everything here, and then recase all the doors with moldings. Over here is it's a pretty large space that's covering up the stairwell, and it's all boxed in. So I'm going to be taking this whole thing out and opening up the space under the stairs. It's good for storage. And in the new planning here, there's going to be a cabinet unit that runs along this wall on wheels that will roll out if there's prep work to be done in here, and then pushed back in when it's not used, rather than having this cabinet unit sticking out like that and losing all the stairwell. So previously, the washing machine I had used to be here. You can still see the old connections for it here. And the dryer was in that room over here to the left. So one of my main goals to proceed with this room was to move the washer and dryer. So I had to move all the utilities and add a vent in this room over here, which was just a storage room before. So I did that, and then decided that I wanted to get rid of my ugly front-loading washers, which didn't work very well, and I got something much more appropriate that I think you'll like. So these are a pair of 1976 Maytags. It's an A806 and a DG808 washer and dryer. It's a gas dryer and an automatic washer, and they have the light up control panels, which are pretty cool. Turn them on real quick and get to see what they look like. But they both, glow, which is pretty neat. Yeah, they've been great machines. I had to do a little bit of refurbishing to them, but they wash much, much better than anything I've ever used. So this room used to be a storage room, and had to do the water piping up here off of the kitchen piping upstairs. I had to run this down here for the shutoff. Put some electric in. This sort of cattywampus vent here was the only way I could get a dryer vent up and out of the house. And then there's a gas line to be run, and I put these shelves up on the wall and put a couple old Maytag decorations here. You can see, hung up the ironing board, old paper towel dispenser, and there was a stick-on floor in here which I pulled up, and there were these pretty cool green, asbestos tiles that I cleaned up. Figured it'd look better in here than that. And I've got my phone network connections here and TV RF distribution that I kind of tidied up. So this was this is more or less done at this point. So my next concentration in here is to gut that corner, and then this sink is going to be coming out, and having the flooring guy come in to repair the rotted floor, which is all in here. Several of these boards here are kind of questionable, so probably from here over to the right, the boards will be replaced, and have the floor continue under that stairwell area. And then this sink unit here is going to be going underneath the windows in place of what's there. and it's part of a cabinet set that I got. So I've got all different cabinets of different sizes. Some of them are here. There's yellow ones, and then there's corner pieces, and there's also turquoise ones. So I'm gonna have a small cabinet over there. There's gonna be a vintage stove that's going there that I restored over the winter. That's in the garage, and I'll show that to you in a minute. Another cabinet over there, another cabinet over there, and then some sort of small table and chairs over here on the left. And then the floors will be refinished, which will be like a light, oak colored floor, even though it's pine. So, and then the walls, this wall is going to get tiled in more of the tiles that I used in the bathroom here. I have extra tiles left over, and I would like to replace these two windows with wood windows, at least in this room, because they didn't do a very good job shrinking the window housing, and the wood frame is rotted over here. So I'd like to fix that and put in two wood sashes, at least in here, so it looks a little bit more appropriate. And once that's all concluded, then the ceiling system can go back up. And it's the same 12-inch paper tile system that I have in the rest of the basement. It's an old Armstrong system. So this is kind of what's going on, what I've been working on this winter. I still have a ways to go, and I'm hoping I could get back into this, later in the spring. But I'm going to take you guys out in the garage and show you what's going on there. So, it's a beautiful day today. So over here is a stack of new units that need varying types of work done to it before I can unload them in air conditioning season. I think I need a blower motor for this one. I think that one down there just needs to be cleaned, and it needs a new selector switch. And then this Whirlpool stereo is going to go to Christian. So at least I can get rid of all those. I've got another EQK 8200 BTU unit here. This is the twin of the unit in my kitchen that came from Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist for free. I've turned it on, the blower works. It's been too cold in here to get the compressor to kick, but the guy said it works. I'm sure it works, and once it warms up, I'll do a restoration to this and have it ready in case the kitchen unit ever decides to go. This is the stove I'm putting in the basement. It's a 1947 Chambers. If you guys have never heard of a Chambers stove, I'd suggest you look it up. It was one of the only stoves ever made that has an insulated oven compartment and an insulated well on the cooktop, which allows you to cook with the gas off. You can cook things for hours in here with the gas off, and it holds the temperature. So it's pretty cool. It's got a whole damper system on the oven and on the thermal well, and it's really built well. So this is going to be going in the basement where the washing machine used to be, once everything's done. And here's some more cabinets for that kitchen unit. Actually, these I won't be using because they won't fit down there. And it also even came with a stove and an electric oven, which I'm not using down there because I don't have enough electricity to run this, and I'd much rather use the Chambers range anyways. And I've got this smaller cabinet unit there to the left that I am going to use, and this white one, which I'm going to paint turquoise, and I think I'm going to join them together. So, but that's all for later in the summer. Now here's the 20,000 BTU weather wheel that lives in my dining room. I took it out for winter because it was kind of haphazardly thrown in there. There was no ceiling at all around anything, and the drafts were unbelievable coming around it. Part of the problem is the replacement windows. You can't properly screw the sleeve into the window. You might be able to see it here. So this is the front, this is the interior part of the sleeve. Where these tabs are, it's supposed to screw into the windowsill. And if you screw them in here, then when you connect it to the rear brackets, it actually does support the whole unit without any extra bracketry. I wasn't able to do that because it's into plastic. So the plan is to replace these windows, and I need to do that this year before this unit goes back in, because I want to reinstall the unit and not have to take it in and out every year, or just cover it, you know, for winter time. But it's held up really nice. You can see the, you know, the restoration. Nothing's really deteriorated from being out there for a season. It's a beast, no doubt about it. So that's that unit. So that will hopefully go back in, I'm hoping in the next 5-6 weeks maybe. I'll show you what I'm working on to get to that point. This is my second floor layer. Here's the 1960 weather wheel and the 1965 weather wheel. I kind of tucked them away. This one I did a full restoration on last year, although I think the thermostat is stuck from, oh, it's actually clicking today. It is not stuck. I stand corrected. So this one, I'm not sure where this is going yet. I mean, I kind of bought this as a joint venture. This is the one that I had in my living room, in my dining room the first year. It's a 10,000 BTU unit. It really wasn't enough for the space, but it could use a better restoration. So if at some point I feel up to it, I think I'm going to take this thing back down outside and give it a much better restoration. But these are just stored here for right now. And this is my friend's radar range. It's one of the very first microwaves. Pretty cool unit. Opens up like an oven. But anyways, the reason why I'm working towards getting this 20,000 BTU fetters in place are the windows. So these are windows that are the right size for my dining room. I had a really hard time tracking these sashes down because it's an oddball width. So they had like 100 years of paint on them. So I took all the paint off, stripped them to bare wood, sanded them, and primed them. And now these sashes have to be puttied. You can see on the inside, they're still finished. The wood has never been painted on the inside. So that's what I want, because I have chestnut woodwork in the house. So these are going to clean up really nice. And the lower sash, I didn't have this sash. I had one wider. This isn't the best repair. Hopefully I'll be able to fix this a little better. But I took a wider sash apart and made smaller mortise and tenons narrower, and then rebuilt it at the correct width. So, and this one's also been stripped. It does need to be sanded some more on the inside and stained, because this is going to be on the inside section of the house. But, and then the glass will be going in it. So this is one pair of windows. So hopefully I get to putty them today, and then they have to sit for a week before they can have the outside paint put on them. And then I have another pair here that need to have the same thing done to them. This is the wider window, so it would have to be made narrower, and the upper sash. And then these are the lower. This is the center window. So this is a 36-inch wide window and an upper sash. And I have an idea that rather than having both of these sashes permanently mounted and having this inner sash, which is the lower sash, up all the time, I'm thinking of making a custom sash that's only about maybe 6 or 8 inches high, that perfectly lines up with the sleeve of the weather wheel. So I'm gonna have to do some preliminary measurements for that. But I'm hoping to get this all done in the next month, so I can then put these in and then get the weather wheel permanently installed, have it all caulked, sealed, insulated, and then the only thing that has to be done in the wintertime is a cover be put on the outside of the unit to protect it from the elements. So I'm trying to really get this done, because I know it's going to be hot out before I know it. And then I'm going to be throwing the weather wheel back in the plastic window for another season and having to take it out again in the winter, which not fun moving a 200-pound unit. So luckily last year Van and his dad came by and were nice enough to help me bring that unit out, because it's not something you can move by yourself. So anyways, that's kind of what's going on here. The garage is still kind of a mess, trying to sort through stuff. This window project's kind of important, I think, at this point. So this is a bunch of that knotty pine that came out of the basement. I don't know if anybody wants knotty pine. If you're willing to give it to you, it's all different sizes. It's got holes and things in it. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it up and just dispose of it. You know, hey, hopefully we'll get to do a air conditioning get together this summer. I think things are looking better this year than last year. Do a cookout or something. Hopefully a bunch of you guys can come out and can hear all these units run. I did buy it at 53 Fetters. I'm arranging to get it shipped. It's still not here, so I might have that in 2-3 weeks. And I'd like to do a restoration on that. I have no idea where I'm going to put that unit, but I really would like to sneak it in the house somewhere. You know, maybe it's even if it's in the sunroom off to the other side of the dining room and use it occasionally. I think it's a 0.5 horsepower unit. I mean, if it was a 3/4 horsepower unit, I'd maybe put it in my bedroom. Be kind of neat to run it in there, but I think it's a 1/2. So anyways, that's all I got. So thanks for hearing me rant, and we'll talk to you all soon.